In this behind the scenes episode, I'm going to take a closer look at the YouTube analytics of my other channel, the WP Guru. In particular, I'm going to have a look at how much I've grown over the last year, how much money I'm currently making, and I'd like to make this an annual feature. So I've done a similar video last year that was about 50 minutes long, so I went into very much detail. This is the channel in question that we're going to have a look at, the WP Guru. Currently has 10,400 subscribers, so I've just crossed that mark by about end of June 2020, and I've already grown another 400 subscribers. That's quite impressive. That's quite exciting. So I find this topic super fascinating, especially because I hadn't thought this was going to be possible. So last year when I made this, this is the video I'm talking about. I should really change the thumbnail there, and I should also perhaps change the title of that video to something more meaningful. Maybe put it in line with the one that I'm recording now. But yes, this is the one that we're going to compare it against. And I believe back then I had, there we go. I think we can see that here. We had, can I increase that somehow? Size, there we go. These were my top performing videos back then. This was like this time last year. Marvelous Designer, GoPro adapter, dramatic lights, walk animations, and how to turn an image sequence into a video in Photoshop. And there was another one that I've just took a screenshot of. This one here, the graph. Exactly. That's the one. Can we increase that? Yeah, there we go. This was last year's statistics over literally the last year. So from July 2018 to 19, I've made $1,000, $1,047, and I've grown by 2,400 subscribers to around 5,600. I believe that was the number. So now I'm not quite double there, but at 10,400. And let's have a look at how much money I've made over the last 365 days. It's an interesting one. I'd like to just memorize these things. Web interfaces change so quickly as well. That's the thing. This is the front page of my channel. I might present that slightly differently. This one has certainly changed. This has already got 163,000 views, and this is 2 years old. This one that's now outperformed this one. That used to be my all-time best performing video, which certainly has, you know, it's no longer relevant, but it's still there. It's one of those things. And I've added a lot of game streams to the whole mix. And this is how my channel is currently presented. So you can do this with the analytic, with the customize the channel thing. And yes, that is how it looks like today in the dark interface. Let me head over here to my YouTube studio and have a quick overview, quick thing of what that interface looks like. It has completely changed now. The YouTube Studio Beta, it's no longer called beta, but hey, it's one of those things. 10,488 subscribers, 502 in the last 28 days. That's exciting. Views are somewhat down, but revenue is up. Hey, who cares about anything else than revenue, hey? Not me, really. I mean, revenue is great. I just wanted to mention this, is I'm not doing any of this for the money. Money is an enabler, and we need it in our society, but money isn't my motivation behind running my channel. Otherwise, I probably would be very unhappy with 10,000 subscribers. And the YouTube growth hackers, they always look at, hey, what are your best performing videos, and just repeat that success and make that 10 times. And you know, I'm really not into that. I just do what my mind is currently occupied with, and then we'll roll with that. So yes, this has slightly changed. This is my new monthly income here. That's quite nice. But I think we can see a better overview in the analytics here. Yeah, there we go. It loads much faster than it once did, so that's nice. I can see that I have 95,000 views. I had 6,100 watch hours in the last 28 days, and I've grown, yeah, by 500 subscribers. Monthly revenue is here. Let's have a look what that, before we delve into the details of the videos that are currently popular. They've expanded that to the top 10 videos. Let's just have a brief recap over the last 365 days. So that encompasses the same thing that we've looked at in the previous video, but I've made, look at that, in 1 year close to $3,000, and I've grown 4,600 subscribers. That makes sense. That kind of lines up with the previous statistics. And so what's interesting here is that this is kind of flat until this moment here, when my views kept going up, and they haven't quite doubled, but they have almost doubled. So I'm going from maybe like 1,600, 1,500 viewers here. I'm going kind of dramatically over to 3,500, 3,800 sometimes. And that is almost doubling. So I'd say, maybe an 80-90% increase, which is awesome. And that is, of course, completely related with the start of the COVID crisis worldwide. I believe in Europe it started a little bit earlier, but when we really started feeling the ramifications here in America, that was kind of the beginning of March. And it's also the time at which I was seriously considering staying away from work, from my job at the supermarket, because that due to my compromised immune system, that might not be my best course of action to go and work there. So I've decided not to do that until further notice as well. I'm supposed to go back 1st of August, but I can't see myself doing that. We've had this kind of slight dip, and now it's basically back to where it once was, the COVID thing. So some people suggest it's the second wave. Other people say, hey, the first wave isn't even over yet. So, we're in this difficult situation. So there's two things that have happened here. One is that many more people have stayed at home and as such have consumed more entertainment. And I have kind of half assumed that everyone's graph kind of looks like that. Let me go and bring this up into perspective of the last 6 months here. And I think I can do that with a custom thing. If I say 1st of January 2020 to today. Let's do that. This isn't quite today. Today is the 22nd of July, and the analytics are always one day behind. So this is interesting that over the last year, I had $2,900 earned, but over the last 6 months, I've earned 2,000 of those. That's really interesting. Also, the subscriber growth has really happened over the last 6 months dramatically. So it hasn't quite gone up like a flat line, it has gone up like a curve. And I had kind of assumed that everyone's statistics would look like that everybody's statistics would have increased at this moment in time. And while that's true for several channels, it is also not true for other channels. So I've seen other statistics that don't look like this. So in that respect, I thought maybe I'll add my 2 cents and show you my curve, and you make of it what you will. So this is coincided on one hand with the COVID crisis taking off, but also on the other hand, it has coincided with the fact that I started streaming regularly, not so much regularly, but daily. I did a daily Stardew Valley stream on YouTube, and that looks like that really put my channel on the map. So it's probably a combination of the two. And I've done this for literally 100 episodes in a row. That was very nice. Potential title for this episode is actually 100 streams later. I was going to make another video of that. How does that feel doing 100 streams in a row? And what is that? What's my takeaway from that? I might leave that for another video. But yes, these two things have happened. I started streaming daily, and the COVID crisis happened. And the COVID crisis kind of goes up and down, but it doesn't seem to be so much related to the graph. I mean, maybe a little bit, that this goes down a little bit, but this now, there's a small downward slope here, and that may be because I've now stopped daily streams. So that was about 2 weeks ago when I stopped. Julia had some time off, so we thought we'll spend some time together, and so I've stopped daily streams for now, but it could well be related. So it'd be interesting to see what happens when I start doing them again and compare the statistics this time next year. So yes, that's what happened. This is over the last 6 months, and this is over the last year. So tremendous increase certainly in revenue. It still isn't at a point where I can actually live off that, but it certainly is going in the right direction, because I think it was about $400 a month. I think we can go into revenue. That's a perfect one here. Let's go into revenue, and it kind of shows you the daily amount of income that's happening. So this is kind of the daily amount of money that's happening over the last 365 days. So it's about $5 every day, which is nice. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. When it's got spikes like these things here, that's a super chat donation. Oh, come on. Show us. There we go. That's a super chat donation. That happens every once in a while during a live stream or during a premiere. You get these spikes, and of course that means that when I do streams regularly and there's more chance of a super chat donation coming in, this is when these spikes are happening. So that does certainly contribute to the overall income, but those are kind of individual isolated spikes. What's happened beyond that is the non-super chat donations, the regular days on which I didn't get any super chat donations, they've now doubled in value of money. So money is literally just increased on a daily basis, and I find that very fascinating. It also hasn't just increased like a flat line, it has literally gone up like a curve, and that's awesome. Down here, it shows me the last monthly estimated revenue per month. So July isn't quite over yet. This is why it's not quite $400. But, you know, man, has this gone up or what? This is quite impressive. So like February, this is what I usually got, like $150, $180 a month. And ever since March, this has gone literally up. I don't know how long it's going to stay that way or if it's going to be a sustainable success, but this certainly points in the right direction that this could become a full-time job. I mean, if it doubles every year, and that'd be awesome. I doubt that's going to happen, but you know, you never know. You never know. I just thought, you know, it's good to make to have a snapshot of that and talk through it and see what happens there. I can also see that this is literally split up here. So the estimated revenue over the last 365 days, that's $2,600 in ad revenue. That's just the pre-roll ads, mid-roll ads, and advertising on the side and all that. Then there's the transaction revenue. These are super chat donations, and the YouTube premium revenue has significantly increased compared to last year. So I think last year that was literally $1 or $2, and today it's $76. So that tells me that a lot of people have started using YouTube Premium. I still haven't got it, but I'm considering it because it's one of those things. I mean, who wants to watch adverts all the time? And especially now, YouTube have to make this new change now that they are giving you, I think, videos that are 8 minutes, they now get mid-roll ads as well. It was used to be 10 minutes, and we can opt out of that. And yes, I don't know. Maybe this is actually the increase in revenue is actually down to YouTube. I don't know. Oh yeah, transaction revenue also. $154 off the transaction revenue was from Super Chat, and then there's $38 from Super Stickers. So thank you so much for everyone who's been donating that. I really appreciate that. There's a third transaction type, but I'm not eligible for that, and that's memberships. And that's kind of monthly things, a bit like a subscriber on Twitch. There's a channel join button on some channels on YouTube. I only get that at 30,000 subscribers, so I don't have that yet. But you know, yeah, that is maybe to come. Let's have a quick look at the top earning videos here. How to find your YouTube channel URL. That's a repeat classic, $400 over the last 365 days for an outdated video from 2 years ago, and it is kind of behind its time. So it's had its day. If I look at the since uploaded lifetime graph, that was kind of funny to look at that last time. I told this story that it had literally no views for 6 to 8 months. Gradually took off, and the takeoff, if you've watched the previous video, it hasn't quite stopped. It literally then had another surge of traffic rising here right at the beginning of the COVID crisis. So I would imagine this is the beginning of March. Just like the rest of the graph that we've seen for the overall channel, this has happened to this video as well. And you'd think it has run its course because I'm describing the old interface. I'm rambling on. I'm not very well. I look like a squashed potato in that video, but hey, it still brings in some cash, which is quite amazing. I find that remarkable. Audience retention, we spoke about that last time. It hasn't changed, of course. But yes, through YouTube search, my video is being brought up even through external search engines. Very interesting. So that is the top performing video over the last 365 days. The second one, and this is interesting here. Maybe I'll go back to the analytics main page here, where we can see those in more detail here. The second one is pairing two Logitech devices with a USB receiver. Also a huge amount of views, and that is something that is I mean, not old, but certainly over a year old. And if you look at the viewing figures here, it's one of those things again that for the first 6 months it didn't actually do that much. After those 6 months, that is when the video now takes off. And I still get great comments on this video because people are interested in how to do that. Audience retention is a bit better here, and most fascinating is of course that this video has made me $245 since it was uploaded. I find that fascinating because it really goes to show that when you put a whole day's worth of work into a video like this, or not even a whole day, if you put like 3 to 4 hours into recording it, researching, recording, and then editing it, and then watching it 2-3 times, or even getting feedback from early access people, and iron out all the silly mistakes that you can make, it is literally something that you put out there for the future. So never, if there's any takeaway from what I'm rambling on about here, is don't ever judge a video by its first week's worth of performance. I know larger YouTubers, they do that. People with a lot of subscribers, they literally judge it by when the video comes out. You have 1 million subscribers, and that is when you, in the first week, in the first few days, that's when you get your maximum amount of income. And then it trails off, and they think this isn't important. Whereas I'm thinking, well, the initial thing of the first 50 or 100 views in my case, that's really not that important. But what's counting for me and for my future well-being and income is literally the longevity of these videos, and how long will they be there. I mean, not every video behaves like that. I don't know if we have one that, probably this one here, the GoPro microphone. This one's another one. Pairing an Apple keyboard with Windows 10, that's another surprise story. It's not complicated, this video, but it's a topic that, from what I understand in the comments, many people have researched that, and text descriptions sometimes don't help, whereas I'm actually doing the process and showing you exactly what to do and what to press, and people seem to like that. So that has 80,000 views. And it's made, again, $250 over the course of its life, which started on the 19th of May 2019. So it's literally a year old, year and a bit old. Audience retention is good, so we're still raking in literally up until the very bitter end, over 40%. That's kind of nice. And again, YouTube search is the big thing here, rather than suggested videos. So sometimes this is the real-time activity last 48 hours. But yeah, suggested videos isn't doing much here. It is the YouTube search that's bringing in, and external links that's bringing in that traffic. That's kind of nice. Many people say focus on suggested videos. Those are the ones that show up next to your video, like these things. That's a suggested video. These are all suggested videos here. That lines up with what I've just been watching, what YouTube has learned while you've watched a few Unreal videos, and so if we think this might be interesting for you. Those are suggested videos. And you don't really have an influence of if they're shown or not, but it's a major traffic drive there. So using OBS Studio for screen recordings, February 2019, that's another popular one, and once again it took it quite some time to take off. So I thought it was already successful when it was here, but that was really not the case. I literally, after a year and a half, it is now taking off, which is interesting. So sometimes that's just what it takes for videos. You think they're not a success, but leave them there, leave them public, and see what happens. That is of course not true for all videos. Like in this case, it's suggested videos. That's what brings in 70% of the revenue. That's interesting. And the browse features and YouTube search is smaller on this video. Quite interesting. I find that fascinating, what you can see with analytics. And by all means, I'm not using it to make my videos any different from what they are. I just find it interesting what happens to videos sometimes. This one, we featured this in the last episode as well, in the last YouTube deep dive, how to use your GoPro microphone adapter. That is still in the top 5. That's interesting. And it has made $137. I think last time I checked in the previous video, I think it had made about $39 or something, round about just under 40. And it meant it paid for the adapter. And now it has generated another $100 on top of that. That's really cool. And this isn't a curve. This is more like a flat graph. So that hasn't changed. It just gradually goes up. And I'm always wary that when these things go down, that's a sign of this video has had its day. So I think we have one more I can have a look at, which is still in the top 5, which is my only 3D video actually that's in the top 10 of my top videos here, which is how to fit desk clothing using Marvelous Designer. So if any of you have the latest version of Marvelous Designer, by all means make a video of it, because people are looking for that. It still made $5.76 over the last 28 days, and since it's been uploaded, it made $160, and that was in August 2017. I wasn't very well at that point, and I was just getting better, I believe, but I still had a big surgery and quite a bit of a phase ahead of me. So yeah, still, the last 48 hours, 138 people have watched this video, but it is in dire need of an update. So I believe it is still not going down, even though it's an older video. It still has like 50 to 100 views every day, which is kind of interesting. But it could do with an update. So any of you who have the updated version of Marvelous Designer, please show people, watch this video, and please show people how to do it properly. Perhaps also not a video that takes half an hour. Even though audience retention is good, I'm still retaining a lot of people, but most of them literally switch off after they've seen the first 30 seconds. They say, you know what, this guy is using an old system. I'm not sure if I'm interested in that. And that's it. Total turn off. So opportunity for you. Absolutely opportunity for you there. MarVD videos. What else is interesting? I think that's pretty much it. I think the only yeah, that's literally it. Oh yeah, actually, if we just go by revenue over lifetime here, yeah, so over the lifetime of my channel, since the beginning of time, the channel has, since the 4th of September 2010, the channel has generated $5,360. And we already know that 2,000 of that has been generated over the last 6 months, and 3,000 of that, or 2,900 of that, has been generated during the last year. So if this curve is anything to go by, you know, all I need to, now that I'm going in the right direction, all I need to do is keep walking. If the future looks like that, that's kind of awesome. You could take this data, and there is a service that has, of course, already done that. You could take this data and go and look at what your future projections are going to be. And I don't know if I've mentioned this last time, but there is a site that does that, and that's called Socialblade.com. I might link to that in the description. Any analytics that are importable into, well, publicly accessible, you can look for. So I can look for the WP Guru here, and it'll probably find my Twitter account and my YouTube channel. Perfect. So we want this. Click on that. Also, thank you for the adverts. And it tells me I'm a B minus. Ignore the adverts. I don't have an ad blocker here. But yes, it's showing me I've got a B minus, which is nice. I think last time I checked, I had a B plus or C minus or whatever. I am the 168,000th most popular channel in the US. And it looks like I'm the 98,000th popular channel in the games category. This depends on what you've uploaded mostly over the last, I don't know, month or so. And it gets the estimated monthly earnings and the estimated annual earnings pretty much correct. So it's not the top, it's also not the bottom, but it's kind of somewhere in the middle. That's exactly where I am. So it suggests that my estimated annual earnings are between $300 and $5,000, and I'm literally right there with 2,900 right in the middle. And it also almost gets the estimated monthly earnings right. So I don't really know how they do that, but they do it, and they extrapolate very interesting curves from that. So for example, the future, pretty well, you can scroll down. This is a live subscriber count here. A lot of people have unsubscribed on that day, so views have gone down. I think that's what that means. Minus means the views have gone down. These are views. These are the subscribers that I've added here, I believe. And they do this also by... they can extrapolate this into future projections, and that is a really interesting one. You can, if you click on that, you can have I think, how does that work again? Oh yeah, so this is future projections of where will I be probably in that amount of time. I don't know if you can see that properly. Maybe I'll go and increase it a little bit. So they reckon that in 12 months time, I will have reached 23,000 subscribers. That's kind of cool. So this time next year, and then a year and 4 months from now, I will have around about 31,000 subscribers. And that's kind of interesting because subscribers, even though they don't mean much as an isolated metric, they do mean something for YouTube, in which they can they'll let you have other features. So another interesting one is here, subscriber milestones. If we click on that, then we go and get this. So in 100 days I'll have that. In so many days I have that. So in exactly 300 days, on the 19th of May 2021, apparently I'll have 20,000 subscribers. If that's true or not, it really, is anyone's guess. But yes, I think at 30,000 subscribers here on the 11th of August 2021, I will get this join channel button there. What's interesting about that is so that this period between 20 and 30, that is interesting. So if these people are correct, it'll take me 300 days, so nearly a year, to double my subscriber count. But then it'll only take another 170 days to add another 10,000 subscribers to that. So it's almost like it's not a linear curve. It's a curve that goes up. And when I checked this last time, it was actually much more pronounced. So when their prediction about a year ago or so, their prediction about 3 or 4 months ago said that I was going to reach 30,000 subscribers this time next year. So I suppose they've since changed their mind. I don't know. There's also this reach. Is that important? I don't know. I don't really know much more about these statistics, but yes, that is all I have for today, and I find that quite interesting to just compare that to the graph that we've seen in the previous video, which looks like this. So that has certainly tripled compared to the 2019 video. This is now literally tripled. So my estimated revenue is literally like 3 times as much as that, and I find that super encouraging, super impressive. So yes, that's the state of the affairs. It's about $400 a month from YouTube right now, and it's about $250 from Patreon. That has kind of stabilized. So on Patreon, what I see is kind of a topic for another session, but what I see on Patreon is that people come in and they stay for a few months and then they go again, and in that meantime other people come in and they then also go again. So people stay on average 3 to 6 months on Patreon, and yeah, that's nice. So hence that's kind of, it's not gone up and down. It's kind of stable up there at about 28 subscribers, something like that on Patreon, and that's nice. So those are my sources of income. 250 from Patreon, about 400 on YouTube, and then there's another 50 to 80 from Amazon and a few from royalties and other affiliate programs. So that's that. Not something I can live off just yet, but if we do these annual analytics sessions, it really is an interesting trend that I'm seeing, that I'm hoping that that's going to continue and hopefully one day allow me for this to be my full-time job. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me in the comments. I'm very happy to explain anything else or compare something with your statistics. If you have got something that is a similar trend, please let me know. If you've got something that's a completely different trend, that would also be refreshing to hear. Not everyone's comfortable sharing the statistics. I totally agree that this is a sensitive topic. But since so many of the statistics are publicly accessible anyway, I thought, I might as well share the nitty-gritty details with you. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.